Every year, 1 in 3 adults over 65 experiences a fall. Most of these falls happen at home, alone, in a quiet room, with no one nearby to help. And for many, the consequences are far worse than the fall itself. Pendant alarms, buttons, pull cords, they all share the same flaw. They require the person to press them. But when it matters most, the user may be unconscious or unable to reach the device. 80% are never pressed when an emergency actually happens. Teiker does it differently. It listens. It watches over you quietly. And when something goes wrong, it acts, without you needing to remember anything in that moment. Over the next 12 minutes, we'll walk through exactly how that works. There are 7 things worth understanding about how Teiker handles emergencies. We'll go through them, one by one. Why automatic detection matters. How Teiker actually detects an emergency. The verification step, where a real voice checks in with the user. The escalation chain. The types of events Teiker catches. What makes it different? And finally, what families really receive in their day-to-day. Before each section, we'll come back to this same list, so you always know where we are. Let's start with the first point, why automatic detection matters in the first place. Because the worst moments, the falls, the strokes, the sudden collapses, are the ones you can't prepare for. 80% of pendant alarms are never pressed in a real emergency. That is not a small number. That is most people, most users, most moments that matter. Imagine the scene. Margaret loses her balance reaching for the kettle. She falls. The pendant alarm is on the bedside table, 3 rooms away. She is conscious, but she cannot get up. She cannot reach the phone. And in that quiet kitchen, nobody knows. Teiker is built for that moment. Not the moment you remember the button, the moment you don't. It listens, it notices, and it speaks first, before you have to. Point 2. How Teiker detects an emergency in the first place, because detection is the foundation of everything that follows. Teiker is always listening, but only for specific things: the sound of an impact, a cry for help, a smoke alarm, a glass breaking. It does not record conversations. It does not store audio. It listens for patterns the same way a doctor listens for a heartbeat, and only acts when the pattern matters. Beyond audio, Teiker quietly learns the user's rhythm. When they wake, when the kettle goes on, when they move from the kitchen to the lounge, when they settle for the night. None of that is logged as activity, only the shape of it. So if the kettle never boils on a morning it always does, Teiker notices. Audio detection works on its own, but for families who want an extra layer of protection, Teiker offers an optional one: posture-aware cameras. They are entirely optional. No room is required to have one, and they do not work the way you might expect. These cameras detect body posture, nothing else. They recognize the shape of a person standing, sitting, lying. If that shape suggests a fall, someone motionless on the floor where they were just upright, an emergency is raised in seconds. They do not record video, store images, or send footage. Some families choose none. Some place a single camera in the bathroom or at the top of the stairs, the places where falls are most likely. Some choose more. It is always optional, and the audio system, on its own, is already enough. Point 3. Human verification. The step that turns Teiker from an automatic alarm into something far more careful. When Teiker detects a possible emergency, a sound that could be a fall, a phrase that could be distress, the very first thing it does is speak to the user. Within seconds, "Margaret, I heard a loud noise. Are you all right?" If the answer is reassuring, the moment passes quietly. Nobody is disturbed. The day carries on. Why does it matter? Because verification cuts false alarms by more than 90%. It preserves the user's dignity. They're spoken to, not skipped over. And when a real call does go out, the responders arrive with the context already told. After Teiker speaks to the user, one of three things happens. A real person, trained for this exact moment, reviews what was heard, listens to the response, and decides what to do next. There are three possible outcomes, each with a different response. Three possible outcomes, each with a different response. The first, a false alarm. A dropped pan, a loud television. The alert is canceled. Nobody is disturbed. The second, minor assistance. The user has slipped but isn't in danger. Family is alerted. Emergency services aren't. The third, a real emergency. No response or something clearly serious. Family is called immediately. Verification, that first quiet question. Point 4. The escalation chain. The order in which the right people are contacted, and the gap that always sits between Teiker and a. Within 5 seconds, Teiker detects. Within 30, a real person verifies. If help is needed, the primary contact, usually a son, a daughter, a partner, is called first, by phone, by text, and through the companion app, all at once. If they don't answer, the secondary contact is reached. And if the situation is serious from the very start, the ambulance is called in parallel, not after. When the family is contacted, they don't receive a robotic alarm. They receive context. What was detected, when, what the user said, what level of help is needed, or already on its way. A clear sentence. No. From the moment something happens to the moment help is on its way, the entire chain takes under a minute. 5 seconds to detect, 30 seconds for a real person to verify, 30 more for the right people to be called, and then a human stays on the line until the user is safe. Every call your family receives starts with a real person, not an automated voice. Someone trained to recognize distress in seconds, who speaks with the user, and who stays on the line until the situation is resolved, coordinating with paramedics. And throughout all of it, you don't have to do a thing. Point 5. The kinds of events Teiker is actually listening for. Because an emergency isn't one thing, it's 4. First, falls. Impact, then stillness, including nighttime bathroom trips. Second, distress calls. Verbal, like help or I can't breathe. And nonverbal, groaning, panicked breathing. Third, unusual silence. A normally active household gone quiet for too long. And fourth, environmental dangers. Smoke alarm. 3 in the morning. The bathroom. A soft impact. No alarm, no call. Within 4 seconds, Teiker has spoken. Within 12, when there's no response, the family is on the phone. Point 6. What actually makes Teiker different from the alternatives? A pendant only works if you press it. Teiker works whether you do or not. A pendant is silent if it's in the other room. Teiker isn't. A pendant calls immediately, sometimes when nothing is wrong. Teiker speaks first. And when an ambulance comes, Teiker arrives with context: name, address, the event. A CCTV system records everything, stores everything, watches constantly, and acts on nothing. Teiker doesn't record. It doesn't store footage. If posture-aware cameras are added, they stay optional, used only in selected rooms, capturing no video at all. They sense posture. They act on it. No. And the final point, what this actually feels like on the family side, because in the end, this is for them too. On a normal day, and most days are normal, the family receives a single quiet summary. Margaret woke up, took her morning medication. The carer came and went. She moved around the house. She took her evening pill. She settled for the night. No incidents. Just a calm sentence at the end of the day, confirming that everything is well. That is what Teiker really gives a family. Not a stream of notifications, not a feed to scroll. Peace of mind, not constant worry. Reassurance when everything is fine. A clear, kind voice the moment it isn't. We've walked through all 7. Why automatic detection matters, how Teiker actually detects, the verification step, the escalation chain, the kinds of events Teiker catches, what makes it different, and what families really see in their day-to-day. 7 things, 1 quiet promise. What Teiker really protects is the thing that matters most: the ability to keep living in your own home, on your own terms, knowing that help is always 1 quiet step away. Calm, real, human, without the Teiker. Help arrives before you ask. Learn more at teiker.online.